I'm here in Perth to check out this new home that feels super contemporary, but also gives a really gentle nod to 1970s nostalgia. There's a sort of really interesting feel to this place, and it feels like a 70s family home in some way. It gives me a sort of sense of nostalgia. Is that part of the feeling of what you're doing here? Or?
Yeah, I think the biggest compliment we ever get on our new builds is that they look like renos.
They have a sense that they've been here for a while.
And how do you do that?
Materials, yeah, I think it's using earthy materials that age and those things that have texture and feeling to them from day one.
Whenever we can, we try and use things that are a little bit more interesting, a little bit more textured. So the reference here is a pressed tin. So again, we are, as I say, we're trying to get the house to feel like it's been here for a while, like it's just kicked around and they've kind of flashed it up a bit. You know, when you're thinking about it, you think, oh, that's an old material, so it must be an old home. So these bricks, which have got a real warmth about them and a reference to sort of eras like the 60s and 70s, and so people see the warmth of the brick and the texture of the brick and they go, oh, well, that's not how we build now, so it must have been around for a while.
This decorative wall is fantastic. What was the process and what's the rationale behind that?
Again, it was about filtering. So you're coming into the house, and when you come into a space, there should be a kind of procession from the most public to the kind of private. So it was a way of seeing people enter, seeing a bit of movement, but filtering it. You pull them into the centre of the home, and then you go, okay, and you've welcomed them, and then they can have a look at your private sort of private parts.
Yeah. What was their response to it when they saw it for the first time and the idea behind it?
Oh, I think they've always loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've always loved that idea of sort of filtering between the entry and the lounge room.
Yeah, and I think that having a wall that's translucent, but also you can put a couch against, is sort of, I guess that's typified in our architecture. We love beautiful things, but we also want the space to work.
What are your favourite things about the house?
The deck's pretty good.
Yeah, the deck was fun. I mean, it's a small block, and so we wanted to make sure there was an extra space, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and given its proximity to the city, there's some great city views from up there. So yeah, we're pretty chuffed that worked out.
Yeah, I think this void, it's lovely getting the opportunity of a two-story.
The sun comes all the way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, this is almost the longest day of the year, and it's coming in 9 metres.
And you've got the world's longest curtain.
Yeah, the theatrical curtain.
It took some hanging.
Yeah, I bet. That's a nice feature though, isn't it?
But it's also a way, I mean, there's a sense that brick has a sort of a hardness about it. And I think when you're using this, it's important to recognise that, and that's beautiful, but also you can soften it with, you bring in curtains and they give you a bit of texture and a bit of warmth.
Let's talk about the colour and the size of the bricks. What's the decision behind that?
We're quite fond of the small format.
Yeah.
Sort of the 50mm high brick as opposed to the sort of standard, which is a bit bigger.
And the rake joint, our brickies kind of hate us because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to go lay the brick and come back. But it's about celebrating the object. When you have the rake joint, you see each brick.
And do you think there's a sense with if you're taking a slightly smaller brick, is a reinvention of the past, a slight update to that style?
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. And also it's just there's an elegance about proportions. Perth's a very bright place. Like, I mean,
the quality of light's quite
light
unique.
here is usually very, very stark. And a lot of houses in Perth, for some reason, are white on the outside, white on the inside, and they're almost unlivable.
Yeah, sunglasses too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and so
right.
we rely on the dark materials to suck it up.
The Gertrudis brown.
You've always loved it.
I have always loved it, yeah.
One of the things about Perth that I really love, and you may not even notice, there's so much iron ore here. There's so much iron ore that even the water's stained with it, and all the fences are stained with it. Like it's a burnt orange, and it's everywhere, and it's very WA.
And so you're not sort of fighting against it.
So this has got that earthy red, and it's made out of those bricks which are earthy red. So it's really, that idea of building out of the place.